Okay, so I wanted to go over some signals that I took over the last couple months. So the first one we're going to look at is Pound USD short that I took on November 6th at about 9 GMT, 9 a.m. So as you can see, here is the Momentum Master signal, and this was after a small Pound News event. And you can see from the start of the day, we had a push up here, and we'll look at this as a PFT setup. So here on the FibMaster chart, you can see the same entry, and up here you can see it start to shift down, but up here we have the 4-hour 55, and of course we have the fib level there, the midterm fib that we pushed into. So here, after the Pound News, we've broken below the Dynafib and got a corresponding signal on Momentum Master. So my take profit was down here at this super convergence zone, just above the midterm fib, and I actually got trailed out here for 31 pips, which was right after we broke and we were retesting the midterm fib here. So we had I used a stop a little bit above the bands. So we had a 17 pip stop. Usually go above the band plus my spread for whatever the pair is. So this is a pretty straightforward setup. One of the patterns with PFT setups that you see a lot of time on the 5-minute was here was our initial push, and you can see we kind of just hovered around for a little while, and then we made a sharp move down and back up to around 50, and then back down again, and right here was where we entered at. Alright, so here's a pound odd signal, and this is actually the original picture. So the entry was at the close of this candle, and that was 5-minute candle close on Pound News. This trade was on November 12th. The trade had been about 10:35. And here we can see the structure on this. We had 4-hour 55 up here, and then we had a monthly pivot, a midterm fib, super convergence zone, 4-hour 200, and during the beginning of the day we were pushing up into the 4-hour. I don't remember if there was a news event here or not, or if we just spiked up off of the daily 55. But we failed to get it back up to the 4-hour. We failed to even approach the high, and then we had this candle after the news event, which it did close right on this midterm fib, but that's okay because usually we're going to stop at support and resistance before we move through it, especially on a 5-minute. But what did happen was we failed to maintain the level up here. Let me clear out some arrows. So we failed to maintain this level. So we had a strong push basically back below all of this resistance. So that's our PFT, is we were in all of this, failed to maintain it, and we broke down here after the news. So I got trailed out on this pair, on this trade, but let me show you a chart. This is another picture that I took of it. So this is recent, so it's got some additional stuff that you see wasn't there on the last chart. This is one that I just went back and took. But down below, where you can see, we had the daily 200. So that was my original take profit at 140 pips, and I got trailed out. here for 71 pips. Right. And you can see that we did have Williams for this trade. And we also had an RSI cross. Alright, so this was a trade that I took as an add-on trade to my pound Australian dollar trade that we just went over. This is pound CAD. So it is several hours later, I believe, or maybe just an hour later. But you can see, so this was the entry on pound odd, which made a similar bar on pound CAD. And I waited for price to consolidate here, and then we have this little signal on Momentum Master, and this is on the 1 minute chart. So here, if we look at it, back here is where we took our pound dollar trade, and we could have took pound CAD, because you can see back here we had the same kind of push up into all of this resistance, and then the news gave us a big spike down. So you can see consolidated all along this midterm fib superconvergence zone area, and then pushed down on a 1 minute chart. So this gave us a relatively small 15 pip stop. And I actually got trailed out a few candles later over here, about 28 pips. Alright, so here's an odd CAD trade. This was on November 5th at, I think, 8:05. So this actually produced a better signal back here, which I missed. You can see that I took entry on the close of this candle, which isn't a signal on Momentum Master. It's a signal that I would have liked to have taken, would have been this one. I was just not looking at this chart for that one. So let's look at this. Why did I take it anyway, even though I missed the original Momentum Master signal? So that was the corresponding signal for Momentum Master. As you can see, that was a good signal all around. We broke below this midterm fib. But what we did have was, again, another PFT type setup. We were pushing up here. I know it's kind of hard to see. I didn't get a good picture on this one. And we were pushing up there, failed to get even as high. So this was the daily 200 here. And this was on a pretty large pullback. So this gave me good confidence that we were going to be resuming the downtrend on this pair. This is odd CAD. I don't know if I said that or not. So actually the close of this candle is where I took this, which would have been very close to where the initial entry was. And you can see that we just kind of held below this level after making this low here. So I had a 19 pip stop, again above the bands with the spread, and had a 100 pip take profit, which these midterm fibs may have been in a slightly different spot because this is a picture that I took recently, so they probably moved down just a little bit. So like the midterm fib may have actually been here where we were sitting against it. But I did hit 100 pip take profit bid off a 19 pip stop, so really good RR there, and price actually continued to move for about another 100 pips down.